Bonjour chers auditeurs, je suis ici avec Adam Engstrom du Rocket de Laval aujourd'hui pour parler de son cheminement avec le Rocket et aussi son avenir avec le Canadien de Montréal. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for being here.
So, I mean, it's been a very fun ride watching you since being drafted in the third round by the Montreal Canadiens. Played two full seasons in Sweden, and then coming over to the American Hockey League last year. What was the biggest adjustment for you coming over from the SHL to the American Hockey League?
I would say the biggest adjustment was probably outside the rink, like moving to a different country, away from family and friends. I feel like that was probably like the toughest part, first half of the year. I mean, with the ice, smaller ice and that, I felt I adjusted pretty quick. Of course, that was tough too. Like you get people coming at you more quick, like you gotta have your heads up and make quicker plays. But I felt like that was probably I adjusted pretty quick to that, I feel like, but no, it was mostly like outside, I would say. But after, I would say around Christmas time last year, I adjusted pretty good with that. You get to know everybody in here, in the team, and hang around with those guys, and then you felt more comfortable outside, which meant you felt more comfortable on the ice too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it all is when you leave a place, when you leave home for work and you go, in this case across the Atlantic, it's always a big adjustment. And I remember Pascal Vincent talking about your adjustment, and I remember right at the beginning, like the first couple of weeks, at one point I believe they scratched you one game, and then you came back and you had the game, like the best game that you had with the Rockets since coming back. And so there are those ups and downs, and you just said it, your support system isn't here. So how did you overcome that, and how did you feel that you were better suited today in your sophomore season with the Laval Rocket to withstand that kind of adversity?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that happened last year. Like, I was maybe not as consistent as I wanted to be every game. I had a lot of good games, but I had all like not as good games also. But yeah, that became much better. Like when I get comfortable outside, and yeah, as you say, like this year it feels much different because now you know everybody. Now you know how everything works outside, and like with all the coaching staff and all that. So yeah, we just feel more comfortable this year, and that's why I feel like I had a pretty good start so far to the year.
Yeah, I would say so too. And I think one of the elements that really kind of sticks out when fans watch you is the puck moving ability, being able to not only do the first pass but skate the puck up the ice with efficiency. I think that's something you carried over quite nicely from the SHL over to North America. How did you feel that you needed to adjust to the timing of that? Because as you said, people are coming at you faster. At the beginning of the season, it wasn't so much there, but by the time we got to the playoffs, at one point there was a game where you went completely around the entire offensive zone, shot the puck, and it got deflected in.
Yeah.
How do you get from A to B?
Yeah, of course, it's an adjustment. Like in Sweden, you could carry the puck, I would say, a bit more because like the Czechs are a lot further away from you. So at the start, I wanted to carry the puck all the time too, as I did in Sweden, but you couldn't do that. So you need to find like your spots, like when to do it and when to move the puck quick. So maybe I got in a little bit of trouble at the start last year because I did that, but now, but when I adjusted to it, like, yeah, I mean, you just gotta pick your spots, know where the checks are coming from, and then, yeah, of course, I wanna move the puck. I want to skate with the puck. I have pretty good feet, so yeah, I don't want to take that away from my game either. So.
Absolutely not. And I think you talk about playing your game, but there are also other elements of your game that you've added. Like I watched you play. I watched you play in the SHL. Watched you play internationally. But I found that when you got to Laval, you also developed this meaner edge. You started being a little bit more physical to the point where in the playoffs, I remember against the Rochester Americans, like you were leveling guys. And it's not something we were used to seeing, but it's something that you started doing really regular.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm not the biggest guy that hits the most out there, but yeah, I wanted to develop that into what I do out there because I know if I want to reach the NHL, I gotta be better defensively, and yeah, so and I like to play in the playoffs too, and there's more physical, so you got to be more physical yourself. And I mean, you get more into the game too, also when you hit guys. And I felt like I played better when I did that, so maybe I brought that into my game a little bit too. And that's something I want to keep building on too, because it felt good when I did it. So
it's always good to hit and not be hit.
Exactly.
So we talk about adding those elements. You talk about wanting to make the NHL. As we look at the team right now, David just coming back from an injury, William just coming back from an injury. Mark Delgado was just called up as kind of an insurance policy, but when it comes to a meritocratic perspective, the grand majority of fans believe that you would probably be the next logical person to be called up for the Montreal Canadiens. With that said, how do you kind of prepare yourself for that eventuality?
Just gotta work every day, work on the stuff you gotta be better at. For me, I feel like it's the D zone. You get, as you said, maybe be more physical a little bit. And it's a lot in the NHL. There are a lot bigger guys, more skilled guys, so you gotta be prepared for that. And yeah, it's in the preseason, you get a little bit adjusted to that too, because then you meet a lot more skilled guys and bigger guys all the time. So I mean, it's just every day in practice and games, to keep building on decent stuff for me, and also the other stuff too with the puck. But mostly I focus on these on daily.
Yeah, and you talk about your preparedness for the NHL. Head coach Pascal Vincent routinely tells us that he doesn't know what your ceiling is in terms of a player. He keeps rediscovering new ways that you can improve, where he thought you would be is actually much higher now, because maybe you've developed more of a physical edge, or you're skating stuff out. What has the relationship been with him, and how has he helped you become a better player?
Yeah, he's been really helpful. I feel like both him and DJ has been very helpful for me. With DJ, I do a lot of video coaching stuff after games, and it helps me a lot to know what different stuff I can do, and I feel like that helped me a lot. And yeah, so both those guys is they're hard on me, and I like it, because they gotta be, I gotta know what I need to do better, and they tell that to me, and yeah, so.
And when you talk about getting better, you talk about doing that video. There's always that level of pressure then to perform your second year. And you haven't seemed to really have that issue. In fact, you've only seemed to elevate your play. Like we talk about the preseason, I think you were one of the most noticeable defensemen on the Canadiens. We go to the start of the season with William and David injured, de facto #1 defenseman. How have you taken that kind of pressure, and why have you been able to run with it?
Yes, of course, maybe it's a little bit pressure, but I like it. You get more minutes, and you get more playing time out there. So, I mean, hockey is just fun for me, and you just gotta have fun out there all the time. So I don't really think about the pressure of that. I just want to go out there and play my game, and then see how far it gets me, and yeah, but of course also I want to win, so I'm doing my best out there all the time, and yeah, that's why I play hockey.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way you play, and I like this stylistic comparison, a lot of people compare the way that you play the game to Mike Matheson on the Montreal Canadiens. Do you see that link, and what do you think about that kind of comparison?
Yeah, I can see that, maybe a little bit. Both are really good skaters, defend without skating, and puck moving ability, and carrying the puck up ice. So yeah, I can maybe see the comparison there. Yeah.
And we talk about another big defenseman with the Montreal Canadiens that a lot of fans are curious to hear your opinion on. But how has the relationship been with David Reinbacher? Because you guys were a pairing for the majority of the playoffs before Charlotte, and obviously you were guys that were put together during the rookie camp. What's that relationship been like, and how has he been in the room?
It's been good. Good relationship with Reinbacher. We lived in the same building last year, so I mean we hanged out quite a bit, and I mean we played together for a while last year too, and in the playoffs too. So yeah, it's a good guy, and it's nice to have him back now again from injury. So he looks good out there, and I like playing with him. Both are skilled guys, puck moving guys, and yeah, it's nice to have him out there, and it's a really nice guy to have in the dressing room too. So
Awesome. And you know, one of the things is people obviously pay attention to David because he's a rare right shot defenseman after having traded Logan Mailloux. But you also are very comfortable playing right. You played right in Sweden, and you're playing right in certain situations right now, and in certain points last year. Are you comfortable playing on the right side?
yeah, 100%. As said, in Sweden, probably both of my years in Sweden in SHL, I played probably like 90% of the time on the right side. And last year too, here I played both left and right. So I feel comfortable very comfortable playing on the right side. So yeah, I don't really have trouble with that, and feel like maybe it could be an advantage for me to maybe have that to go into the NHL too.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody wants players that can play on the right, and
Yeah.
you know that's why a lot of them get drafted really high. And so I guess my question becomes, what's the biggest adjustment for you though, as a lefty, having to play on the right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like maybe breakouts are a little bit different, like, because you don't have maybe like how do you say, you can't find that lane maybe.
Yeah, because you have to pivot.
Exactly,
basically.
you have to pivot. So breakouts may be a little bit harder, but I feel comfortable with that because maybe with skating too, you can move a little bit better there. But otherwise, the right side, I don't feel like it's any different. It's just maybe breakouts could be a little bit different. But.
And I've always heard from defensemen that play on their offside that it does give them an advantage when it comes to shooting, especially one-timers in the offensive zone. We've seen you unleash a couple of cannons so far this season. That's an element that I've wanted to kind of touch on with you, is the improvement of your shot. Because the goals have kind of increased as you've kind of gone from draft. The second year in the SHL, we saw a notable jump in your goal scoring. And now we're seeing more shot attempts this year. So is that something that you yourself wanted to work on? Is it something that was given to you as a kind of an objective to be more of a shot-generating defenseman, or a little bit of both?
No, I wanted to work on my shot. I wanted to maybe last year maybe shot more on the block, and like this summer I worked a lot with like finding shooting lanes and that. So yeah, 100%. That's something I've been working on. Get more shots on the net, because when you get it on the net, it creates more chaos there. So get more rebounds, and yeah, so that's 100% something.
And then what's the success of this team mean to you individually, and then in the collective? How are you able to talk about why this team is so successful, has been so successful the last year and 10 games?
Yeah, it's a big part. Like I wanna win. That's why you play hockey. You wanna win, and you wanna get trophies. And last year we had a really good team. We did a really good push in the playoffs too. Of course, we didn't get it done all the way, but yeah, you wanna be a winning team. And this year I feel like we have a really good group again that can go far. Have a good season and have a good playoffs too. So yeah, I mean, you play hockey to win, and that's what I want to do too. So I feel like we have a good chance this year.
Yeah, well, speaking about team dynamics, I spoke to a couple of players on the team last year that said they engaged in a lot of team activities. There was a lot of local music, French music that was played in the locker rooms. Went out to eat together. My question to you is, how have you engaged with local culture, Quebec culture, in a sense?
Maybe not been that much. Maybe Quebec culture, I would say.
Have you gone to like any festivals? Have you eaten poutine?
I've eaten poutine.
There we go.
I've done that, but no festivals yet. Been to. I know a couple guys went to one in here last year, but
yeah.
No. Not really, but I need to explore more Quebec culture this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely downtown Montreal in the summer is a place to be. I could attest to that. Just a couple of last ones for you, but now that we're getting into the season, the Canadians are obviously going to a really hot start. You guys have had a pretty good start to your season as well. When you look at the overall dynamic of where you are within the organization, are you more motivated seeing how well the team is doing up top and seeing where you are in terms of where you are in your career, that you could potentially make a difference as well and help that upper team win as well as you help this one?
Yeah, of course. Of course, motivated to see that they're doing so good up there, and also we're doing good here. And I mean, my goal and my dream has always been to play in NHL, and that's what I'm working on every day to get to my goal. And when it is, I don't know, and if it's gonna be, but that's what I'm just working on every day to get
And
there.
I just want to bring you back to one really funny moment during the preseason. We talked about this a little bit before, but playing on a power play in the last game of the preseason, where you were on the point, and it was Lane Hudson in the bumper.
Yeah.
What kind of, explain to us how that happens when you get tapped on the bench by Martin St. Louis or the coaching staff, and you're like, okay, Adam, go out, and so does Hudson, and you're the one at the point.
Yeah, no, that felt a little bit weird, of course, to have Hudson maybe in the bumper and me up top. When he'd been there all year last year and did so good and won the Calder, so yeah, it was weird, but it was fun. It was really fun to have the game there and play with all those guys.
And last question I have for you, because you know the preseason was pretty something special. The team, it seemed like the energy carried over from the playoffs last year, and the fans were really like into it and loud. How did you experience that? Because this is like Bell Center games. Fans are there. It's a sellout on most nights. How did you take that passion, that noise?
Yeah, like, I mean, in preseason to have a full-out barn and with the fans going crazy like that, and it's amazing. Like, just try to enjoy every moment, and all of those preseason games I tried to enjoy, and it was really fun. And yeah, it's kind of tough to stay focused sometimes, maybe because of all those fans, but I mean, they bring so much energy and they help you play better out there too. So it was amazing.
And last one for you. Obviously, being one of the final cuts, you got to be with the team as they went to their retreats. How was that like for you, and how did it help you kind of learn as a professional, kind of how NHLers go about, you know, the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, to be last cut there and be there for all of preseason was amazing experience for me to see how all those guys work every day and how they practice on ice and how they play the game. So you just take in as much as you can to put it into your game as well. So I mean, they did an amazing job, and they practice hard during the whole preseason, and that's why probably they're doing so great right now too up there, and hopefully it keeps going too. So.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
It's been great.